book. Read my book. Look what I did. Look what I did. Look at the book I wrote. Good deeds after good deeds after good deeds. Faith after faith after faith. Look at my book. You see? But the one who gets his book in his left hand behind his back, he will be in trouble. But he will have no one to blame but himself. This is the book he wrote. This is the book she wrote. So now I ask you, when you meet your Lord Jalla wa'ala, what kind of book do you want to come with? Do you want to come with a good book filled with iman, filled with righteousness, filled with piety, filled with righteous good deeds and good actions, filled with justice? Or do you want to come with a book in your left hand behind your back that's filled with sin, filled with transgression, filled with oppression, filled with all types and kinds of evil and filthy, despicable acts? What kind of book do you want to come with to your Lord? The pens are in your hands. The pens are in your hands. Write the book you feel comfortable with. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. You know, sometimes we play too much. Think everything is a game. Think we could just play around and there'll be no consequences. We can just do what we want to do for whatever reason that we come up with, and there will be no consequences. Because I'm sure for most of the sin that we do, we got a good reason. I had to do it. I had no choice. What do you mean? I needed a car, so I had to get riba. Even though Allah Ta'ala says that for the ones who take the riba, let them know that Allah and His Messenger is at war with them. You had to get a car that bad. Now Allah is at war with you. You think anything will come good of you? Do you think there'll be any good repercussions of that? You think you're gonna win this one? Allah is at war with you? Person is saying, no, I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta live somewhere. I gotta get me a house. So I had to get the house. I gotta get the mortgage. How will someone get a house? Well, you could rent. But in any event, they always think they got a good reason. I had to get the mortgage. I ain't had a $250,000 right there. I didn't have a $300,000, so got the mortgage from the bank. I need a place to live. Need a place to live. Now Allah's at war with you, because you need a place to live, in a place that you ain't gonna be here but for a little bit anyway. You see, this is the problem. You think it's a joke. It's a game. I can do what I want and I'm still gonna be alright. It don't work like that. Allah Ta'ala, He tells us that this dunya is nothing but li'ab, but lahu, is nothing but plain amusement. Imam al-Baghawi, rahimahullah Ta'ala, he said what's meant by that, he said that it's batil ghurur, that this dunya, it is false, it's erroneous, and it's a deception. وَلَا بِقَاءٌ لَهُ, and there is, it won't stay. It's a deception, it's false, and then at that, it don't even stay. You ain't gonna be here forever. And this is the problem. We don't understand ownership. This is the issue. We don't understand ownership. Ya subhanallah. Going back to the house as an example. People are saying, well, I have to get a mortgage. I can't rent. I have to take riba. Allah's messenger is going to be at war with you. Okay, but listen, I need to take riba. I need a house. Let me ask you a question. I want you to answer yourself. How come you don't rent a house and put $100,000 renovation in it? How come you don't rent a house and then you gut the kitchen out and you replace it with new cabinets and new tops, for countertops? How come you don't do that? Most of you will answer, if not all of you will answer, because I don't own it. It's not mine. So what sense does it make to get granite countertops for a place I'm renting? Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Because I want you to understand that even if you buy and you purchase something, it's not yours. So you say you have to run to the bank to get a loan, to get a mortgage, because you want to own a house. That house is not yours, because you're not going to live forever. You're going to die and other people are going to get it. And if you don't pay your mortgage, the bank going to take it back. It's not yours. Don't you understand? The food that you eat is not yours. Whatever food you put in your mouth and you masticate it, you digest it, is not yours. When the Prophet ﷺ, he came to the house of our mother Aisha, radiyallahu ta'ala anha, and he asked her, what remains from the sheep that we had to give? Yani, they slaughtered the sheep, they gave it in sadaqah. He said, what's left? She said, only the shoulder is left. The Prophet ﷺ, in teaching us true ownership, he said, no, the rest of the sheep is present, the shoulder is what we don't have. Because whatever you give for Allah, that's what you own. That's what will be there Yawmul Qiyamah. Whatever you eat, you put in your stomach, you won't see it Yawmul Qiyamah. You don't own it. Whatever you set forth from good deeds, this is what you own. Whatever you gather and acquire from the life of this world is not yours. When you die, others will inherit it and do what they want to do with it. That house, when you die, others will take it and do what they want to do with it. That car that you got, that you love, when you die, others will take it and do what they want to do with it. If it lasts that long, you might crash it up. Somebody might steal it. The hurricane might come and destroy it. So what's yours? What you got at the end of the day? You have nothing but your deeds. You have nothing but your deeds. So why do we hold on to that which won't last? The poet, he says, تَرْجُو بَقَى بِدَارٍ لَا بِقَاءٌ لَهَا وَهَلْ سَمِعْتَ بِذِلٍّ غَيْرٍ مُنْتَقِلٍ. He said, you want to stay in a place that's not designed for you to stay. You're trying to stay in a place that's leaving. You're trying to stay permanently in a temporary place. He said, have you ever heard of shade staying in one place? Huh? Have you ever heard of shade staying stationary? Nothing in this dunya stays stationary. If you go outside, the shade for dhuhr is in one place. You come back at asr, the shade is not there anymore. It's moved to another place. The shade don't stay stagnant. So why you think the dunya going to stay stagnant? Everything going to freeze, you're just going to stop, suspend the animation and just stay living in the moment? You think you can do that? As the Salaf, they say, grab the sun, make it stop moving, then we can talk. If not, you're not going to waste my time, so I don't got it to waste. Our true ownership is what we put forward with our own hands. You want to be so concerned about, oh, I don't want to rent. Subhanallah, rent for rent. So what? It's halal. If you can't buy the house the halal way, then rent the halal way. Because see, the haram way is no option. That's not an option. Haram way, no. Get the halal way. You know why? Because you're only going to live in it for a little bit anyway. You're only going to live in it for a little bit anyway. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, so what? How long are you going to sit in your grave? How long are you going to sit in that house? Ain't going to be no 50, 60 years in Allahu A'lam. It might be thousands of years. The people who died in the time of Musa, how long they been in their grave? The people who died in the time of Idris, how long they been in their grave? The people who died in the time of Noor, how long they been in their grave? Those who died in the time of Adam alayhimus salatu wassalam, how long have they been in their graves? It's a lot longer than 60 years. A lot longer than 100 years. A lot longer than 1,000 years. So what house you really trying to prepare for? You're going to give up everything for 60 years and then spend millennium in suffering, then spend forever suffering? That don't make sense in no one's book. So if you want to prepare, you want to have ownership, you want to own something, you want something to be yours, then set forward with righteousness. The poet, he says, لا دار للمرء بعد الموت يسكنها إلا التي كان قبل الموت يبنيها فإن بناها بخير طاب مسكنه وإن بناها بشر خاب بانيها أو بانيها. He said that there is no abode for the individual after death to live in. There is no abode for a person to live in after he died, except for that abode that he built before he died. You see? The only house you're going to have in the akhirah after you die is the house you build right now. So you're talking about ownership and what you need and what you got to get from the bank. Don't play yourself. Real ownership. Get really what you need. Build your house now. Build your house now. Because the house and the boat that you live in will be built upon what you put forward with your own hands. So the poet, he goes on and he says, فَإِن بَنَاهَا بِخَيْرٍ طَابَ مَسْكَنَهُ. And if he builds it with good, then his abode will be good. His abode will be plush. It will be luxurious. It will be wonderful. It will be magnificent. It will be so wonderful, so magnificent. Our brains, our imaginations can't even comprehend the luxury that waits for those who fear Allah. Our brains can't even comprehend the reward of those who enter into the Jannah. As Allah Ta'ala, He has explained to us, as the Prophet ﷺ has explained to us in authentic hadith, that what? That there are things in Jannah that no heart has even desired for, because we don't know about. No eye has seen it, no ear has heard of it. So there are pleasures waiting there that we have no knowledge of, that we can't even comprehend. It's so good, we don't even know how good it is. Our brains can't even fathom how good it is. So if you want that true luxury, then this is what you have to do. You have to prepare now. So if you prepare with goodness, then your abode will be good. But if you build the building with evil, فَإِن بَنَاهَا بِشَرٍ خَابَ بَانِيهَا. And if you build the abode of evil with evil, if you build your house with evil bricks, if you construct your house with filthy mortar, if you construct your house with all types of sin and transgression, then most evil will be your abode. Then most evil will be your abode. It will be an abode of suffering. It will be an abode of pain. It will be an abode of torture. The type of pain, the type of torture of which you cannot comprehend. Adhabun alim. A punishment that is more than just painful. It is so painful that you can't comprehend this type of pain. Your brains, your imaginations, my brain, my imagination is limited. It's incapable of comprehending the reality of this pain. If that's what you're looking for, if that's what you want, well then have at it. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you want that good house, then you have to get to working. We go into what we go into from haram, and we work overtime. We exhaust ourselves. We run ourselves ragged just to keep up with the mortgage, just to keep up with the car notes, just to keep up with the haram that's hurting us, just to keep up with that which has earned that Allah and His Messenger are at war with us. We exert ourselves in haram for that which is not truly ours anyway. So how about we get working on building some houses right now? How about we get working on building some houses right now? Because everybody will come and say, I want to change. Everybody will come and say, I know I messed up, I need to get it right.